everybody, it's Shayna with Robinson Repurposing, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys like two main crafts and then a few little things and how I decorated my porch. But first up is a splatter screen snowman. I'm so excited about this one. I came up with these last year, so I'm going to link the video that I shared last year if you want to see how I attached these. I didn't show in this video how I attached them, but like I said, in the other video you can see that. I'll link it either in the top or down in the description box. So to start, all I did on this was paint it with the color Cotton by Dixie Belle. It was chalk paint. You could use any paint with this though. Any chalk paint, I would say, or spray paint. And last year, all the ones I made, I spray painted them, but this year I was kind of being lazy and it's cold, so I just wanted to chalk paint it real quick, and it works out just as good, if not better. And this probably took about 3, maybe 4 coats, and I blow dry in between each one just to make the process quicker. And then, what was I gonna say? Oh, I made sure to paint the backs because you can kind of see them from the front. So I painted the backs and the sides. And then I made this little hat out of a piece of really thin wood that I had. And I just painted it completely black, chalk paint that I had on hand. So you could use any chalk paint. And then I picked all buttons for the face and the buttons. Like I said last year though in my video, there's all kinds of options for this. You could do like felt. I took a piece of burlap there to make the nose, but obviously you could make like a more traditional snowman and use like an orange nose. You could do red buttons, well, red mouth, you know. There's all kinds of options, but this is just what I came up with what I had on hand today. And then when I made that little hat, I went ahead and drilled little tiny holes in it. So you can see here, I take my floor wire and I poke it through those little tiny holes on each side. And then I just threaded it through the screen. And you'll see me do all that here. And then I flipped the whole thing over and pulled it through really tight and then twisted it up really good so that hat would stay on there really well. And actually the floral wire that I have was kind of the thin kind, so I would definitely suggest like a real thick floral wire when you do this, just to be extra sturdy, but this still worked out fine. And then I just took some burlap and lace ribbons that I had on hand. That burlap looking one there is Dollar Tree. I don't know where I got the lace one. And then I hot glued that all on, and then I obviously made a little scarf. This polka dot ribbon here, this was literally all I had left of that ribbon. So that's why I did the scarf the way I did. I just hot glued it right there to the front, and then I made the little drop down pieces. Like I said, this was all I had, so I was just trying to make it work. And then I did end up adding more like a lace ribbon to it later, but you'll see that here later. But yeah, this is why I did it like that instead of like wrapping it around like an actual scarf. But it worked out. It still looks cute, I think. Okay, and then just for fun, I added this last little bow up there on the hat. I debated on putting it like on the ribbon there, but I didn't. I ended up putting it on the hat, which I think was really cute up there. Just hot glued it on, and that's it. Oh, and right here, I went ahead and painted the black back over on that hat there where you could see the ribbon. I just went ahead and painted over that ribbon black. And then here's where I add in that lace ribbon. It took me a minute to like figure out how to lay it on there. But yeah, anyway, I just wrapped that around the back and then laid it on there to make it look like a little scarf. Okay, and then since I used wood for the hat on this splatter screen snowman, this one was a little tiny bit top heavy, and last year I screwed all of mine into like a block of wood. Well, I didn't have a block of wood or anything like that this year, so I took these little panel pieces from Dollar Tree and I just put 2 on the bottom, hot glued them to the snowman like this, and then I took 2 more and put them on the top, and this actually worked really well at like holding it steady. And I figured what I could do if I needed to is put like something that is weighted on the back side of that. And I end up here in a minute, I used some brown paint and water and I just mix it together and kind of make it like a stain to make this look nice and finished. My only recommendation on that part is maybe to stain those before you put them on there. That way you can get like full coverage on the fronts and backs and sides and all that, but it ends up working out fine for me here, you'll see. And the paint color I used here was burnt umber, and then like you saw, I took a squirt bottle and just squirted some water on there to kind of wet it down. And then when I flipped this around to look at it, because it's all done, the front I realized needed painted too. So then here's a look at how it turned out. I think it's super cute, and like I said, there's so many ways you could do these different with the faces and the scarves and all that. So many color options and all that fun stuff. And I'm so excited because today's video is part of a little mini collaboration hop with these 3 friends of mine. I've found them mostly on Instagram, but they have great YouTube channels and they have great videos. So definitely check them out. All their links are going to be down in the description box, and leave a comment on everybody's videos so we know whose video you came from and all that fun stuff like people do. But anyway, on to this craft. So I took that same wood that I had that I made the snowman hat out of. It's just really thin wood from Lowe's. I honestly don't know like what it's called or the details about it. I can try to find out and put it in the description box, but I cut that out into the shape of that tag sign you've seen. And then I took this Dollar Tree tree, and my daughter actually did her own little design on it. So anyway, but I got it and I was painting it white. This is just the color cotton again, and that tag also, by the way, was painted in the color caviar. It's just black chalk paint. You could use any black though, I'm sure it would be perfectly fine. And everything took 2 or 3 coats, and I always blow dry in between because I'm impatient. And then I took my stencil from Magnolia Design Co. and I had used it before for something else, so I had that little section cut off, but it works out fine. I just do this stencil real quick. And like I said in one of my other videos, there is a little tool piece that comes with this, but I lost it. And so I just use a paper towel to put this paint on. I think you could probably use a paintbrush too, it would be fine, but I just do everything randomly, and whatever I have on hand, I just make it work. But anyway, you see there, I kind of messed up. The paper kind of ripped off, and I didn't mean for that to happen. I wasn't quite done there, but I ended up fixing all that. You'll see it in the end. And then I took these Dollar Tree stickers and cut out the letters I wanted. These are kind of like puffy. They're like bubble stickers. I don't know, explain that. I don't know if you've seen them at Dollar Tree, but anyway, they're really cool. I've used them for a lot of crafts, and I just paint them and then I stick them on, and they don't actually stick that great once you stick them on. But I've been either hot gluing the ones that pop off, I hot glue them back on, or like in this video, I end up Mod Podging these ones to the sign, and it ends up holding them on there perfectly fine. So you'll see that here coming up. Okay, and then I took my little stamps. These are Iron Orchard design stamps. I buy all my paint and everything at our local paint store, and they have all these stencils and stuff like that too, and I'm always just like wanting to buy any new thing they get in. And I seen that they have these letter stencils, and I was like, these will be so perfect. I can reuse them. Awesome. And I won't have to get out my Cricut, like use my Cricut, because sometimes I just dread using my Cricut. But anyway, so here I am. I'm doing this part. I just used my little ink pad and these little stencils, and I'm writing out Farm Fresh. This part is zoomed up, or zoomed. It's zoomed. what's that called? Sped up. And this took me a long time, is what I'm getting at, is this took me a while. I was really careful and really slow. And this part was really tedious. Yes, so if you do these, they're definitely tedious, and just take your time, basically. That's all. You just have to make sure you take your time. And my ink pad is not the like ink pad that comes with the Iron Orchard stamps there. This was just like a little cheapie from like Walmart or somewhere, so you don't have to use what they have. But anyway, then I took my white paint that I had just left over on my brush and just dry brushed across those letters, and then across the tree, obviously. And then I took my 1-inch drill bit and just drilled a hole up in the top so that I could have a hole there for the tag, or for the, string. And then, like I said, this wood was really thin, so I had to take sandpaper and sand off like the little flaky, splintery parts on that sign. Okay, and then here, I just took this little piece of wood I had, and I lined up the letters for the words Christmas trees that I painted earlier, and I just laid them out here. You can see what I did. Like I said, I just laid them out on that paper, or that little piece of wood, how I wanted them to be lined up. And then I took my ruler here and laid it flat and kind of used it as a guide too. I didn't measure anything or anything like that. I just kind of like eyeballed it, and it ends up looking fine, so just went with it. Okay, and then I took these little snowflake things from Dollar Tree because I just felt like the sign needed something else. And I used E6000 and hot glue to glue those on. And then, I tried to dry brush some white across those letters because, obviously I can't have anything looking perfectly one color. Anyway, and they pop off like I mentioned earlier. But like I said, I hot glue some of them on and that are really, really falling off. And then I Mod Podge them here in a minute. Same thing, took E6000 and then my hot glue and glued this tree on. Okay, and then of course I added a little tiny bow up there on the top. I just made like a little loop-de-loop bow with a tail. I don't know. I don't even think these are the proper way to make a bow. It's just how I do it, and I really like them, so. Okay, and then I have no idea how to tie like any kind of knot whatsoever. So I don't even know what I was doing here, to be honest. If you can tell by watching this, then good luck. But anyway, I don't know. I just tied some kind of a knot and ended up liking how it looked. So I left it like that, and there you have it. That's how the knot ended up. And then here's where I Mod Podge it, like I said. Yep, and ends up working out good. Okay, and then once I brought the sign upstairs, I felt like it just needed something else. So I got my black wax out and just kind of like dry brushed some wax along the top there like you see me doing. And sorry, this part of the video maybe is a little shaky. My 4-year-old was actually videoing me because I didn't want to go downstairs and get my tripod thing. But then anyway, yeah, so I just did the wax there, and this is how it all turned out. And I think it's super cute, and it was super budget friendly and super easy. Okay, in this last part here, I just am showing you guys a few little things that I made to put in these buckets that I put on my porch. So right here I'm just showing I used some ribbon, and I used those skewer sticks and just made little bows and hot glued everything onto these little sticks so that I could stick them down in these buckets on my porch. And I'll just let you watch this part, and then you can see at the end like what I did and how I decorated the buckets. And I think they turned out really cute, so I'm really excited about them. This sign here I actually had on hand from last year, and that's how I had it last year. Like I just kind of half painted it brown and stained, like, you know. But this year I'm putting it out there on my porch, like I said, and I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. And our porch, our house is like a darker brick, so I wanted to paint it white, or this, like I used like a cream color I think to paint this, and I love how this one turned out. Okay, so here's one of the buckets, and here's how it turned out on my porch. I love it. The greenery part, I actually cut down from a little pine tree on my brother's property. Yeah, and they just ended up, so that was free, so that was so exciting. And then I took this Dollar Tree truck, and I just painted this thing up a little bit and distressed it, of course, because I can't keep anything just the way it is. And then you'll see here in a little bit, I added like little wooden presents. I'm not going to do the whole voiceover for this part. I'm just going to let you watch it because this is just like kind of a fun part for me, and I wasn't trying to make this one like super like perfect. I was just trying to like fancy up these little pieces to throw them on my porch. So I'll just let you watch it. But definitely feel free to always ask me any questions in the comments of if anything I didn't mention in the video, if you needed to know something that I didn't mention. But like I think the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just going to let you watch it. Okay, and I have to hop back in here and say that I literally took my straw out of my drink and wetted that paper towel. That's actually what I just did right there. Because I needed it wet, and I wanted to just like kind of like stain these little pieces, these wood pieces, with the brown and the water. So anyway, yeah, that's what I did there. Okay, and then I have like a billion of these little snowflakes. I think you can get basically the same ones at Dollar Tree, but these aren't from Dollar Tree. My grandma actually gave me these in like a box, like a couple totes full of stuff that she gave me for like Christmas stuff. And like I said, I have a billion of these little snowflakes, so I was trying to figure out what to do with them. So on a couple of these skewers, I did what I'm showing right there, and I put 2 of them on a stick. And then here for the rest of them, I just did 1 snowflake on each stick, because I realized I didn't really like it with 2. It kind of left like a big gap in between, and I just didn't like it. So I ended up just doing 1 on the rest of them pretty much. Okay, and now for the fun part. I took everything out to the porch and I started putting it in the buckets. Please ignore my shirt that I have on. It's like my paint shirt that I craft in. I always wear this shirt, so it's got paint all over it. But yeah, I took these Dollar Tree picks, the Dollar Tree, mostly everything's from Dollar Tree. That ribbon is not. And then, like I said, those snowflakes were from my grandma's thrift store box, wherever she got it from. But yeah, I just kind of stuck everything in there, fluffed it up, made it look real cute, and there's that one. And then my snowman sign there, if you all want to see it, I will try to link that video in this video also. I'll probably link it in the description box because I don't know how to link it into the video. Like I said, please ignore my paint shirt and my pregnant belly. I'm, looking rough most days. But anyway, I just stuck those in this bucket too, and this one turned out really cute too, I think. Look at my whole front porch entry right now. I spent like no money on it this year, so I think it looks pretty good for basically spending no money. Anyway, just another reminder, please check out the other girls' videos in the description box and let me know what you thought of everything, and thank you for watching.